Hello, wonderful. It is Sarah K Ramsey, and I'm here with Lois Burnett. Hi, Lois.
Hello, hello.
Who I met. She was one of my fellow finalists and contestants for the Mrs. Tennessee pageant, Mrs. Tennessee America. So you got two beauties in the house. We're pretty excited to unite. Yeah, and we really clicked right at the beginning.
We did.
Yeah, and I think when people have been through real stuff, you just know. And you
Oh, absolutely.
know, like, and trust them kind of immediately. It's like, oh, she's not putting on a front. She's not, whatever. And I think that's what we felt.
Oh, absolutely.
Really.
Absolutely. In fact, we spoke before the pageant. We were communicating and I'm like, yes, this is going to be a good duo. We've got this.
Absolutely. And then we kind of carried around. You even offered some stuff for me. It was just so nice. And we were laughing because we tried to meet earlier. And, as you guys know me and know my brand, like, I keep it real. And people say, well, how do women like you, I don't want to say do it all because it seems a little conceited, but kind of, like, how do you do it all? And we started this meeting. I was in the locker room of my kids' club after this, and she had her assistant. It was like, can I have 15 minutes? I was like, great, I can drive home. So, we made it work, right? And that's how women do it all. It's not always perfect. It's not always like, oh, this how, but done is better than perfect. And that's real, and that's true, and that's how you do this thing called life, right?
Amen. That's right.
So why don't you give us a bit of background on your history with toxic relationships?
Sure. Well, it probably goes back as far as my mother, who's passed away. She passed away at 56, and she had been married 14 times. She married two of them twice, and she was in a cycle of poor choices in men. And it probably started from her childhood because she married men similar to her father, which we hear that so often. Yeah. And so after going through what I went through with my mother and feeling more like a parent than a child, I decided, okay, well, we have two choices here. We can choose to repeat or we can choose to repair. And I chose to repair. I'm going to do it different this round. And started off a little rocky. I did get married. I was 17, almost 18 when I got married, and had my perfect child, one of my perfect children, and everything was great. But the man I married liked women, and they weren't me. So, we went, that was kind of a deal breaker for me, right?
Yeah.
You kind of want your husband to just want you. So what was that?
Yeah, it's helpful.
Yes. And so we'd been married for 7 years, and I did file for a divorce, and kind of put together a list of what I needed to look for in a potential spouse the next time around, if I was even going to have a next time around. And I decided I'm going to not go for somebody my age. I'm going to go for somebody a little older, somebody more established. They're not looking to have a party mentality. They're secure, they're successful, things of that nature, very, very much about me, loving me. And did that.
I am with you. That is exactly what I did. I mean, older, established, not right. I always say I'm the most important person in the room, but I'm not the only person in the room. Yeah. Right?
Well, the funny story is that was a catastrophe too. But that's okay. No, that's okay. I was very young. I married very young, married him at 25. I've come to realize that we don't really know who we are until we're in our late 30s. We really don't, because it takes all of those experiences to really develop yourself. And so he was very much a controlling man. He controlled every aspect of my existence, and to a fault. It's hard to explain unless you're in it, but it was such a controlling that I'd lost who I was. I didn't even know who I was. I'd completely lost my identity. I was just the wife of, and so that dwindled after 15 years. I was with him, madly in love with him, but that did dwindle after 15 years because he just was not able to see me as value at all. I was just basically real estate to him, and just couldn't live that way. And I couldn't let my children see that being okay either. And so I divorced.
What you just said, right? Because we kind of get in our head, oh, I got to stay for the kids. I've got to. And it's like, even with your mom, it's like, well, if you show them that's what relationships are.
That's what they learn.
That's what
right? And everything about a child as they're growing up, they're sponges. They take in their surroundings and their examples, and that's what they lead with. And so I just thought, you know what, I deserve better. I deserve more, and it's time. And so just got out into the world. I am remarried for the last time because I did tell him the only way out of this is in a body bag. So he is going nowhere, and he's fabulous, and he allows me to be a strong, independent woman. And that is amazing, amazing feeling to know that you're married to somebody that has value in you and sees you as quality. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do know. Yes.
And I don't have to apologize for being strong and independent. I don't have to apologize for anything. And that's nice. That's a nice feeling. So that's where I am now as far as being married. And he has 2 children. I have 2 children. We have 4 children together. And we have a almost 26, almost 22. We have a 12-year-old and we have a 10-year-old. And everybody gets along. And I even have a granddaughter, a little almost 6-month-old grandbaby from my daughter and her husband. They blessed us with a little precious baby, Rain. And life is really good. And what's crazy about right now in my life is that people look at you and think there is no way you can balance as many things as you have going on successfully. Yeah. And it's because people don't really challenge themselves. They don't, if you set a expectation of here, they're going to make it about here. If you have an expectation of no ceiling, then guess what? You have no ceiling. You're going to just exceed all expectations. And so I decided that I'm going to do it all, and I'm going to do it all well. And I do. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. I'm a wife. I'm a business owner. I am an advocate. I do all of those things, and I do them all, I feel, very successfully. And it's all about balance and communication, and having a wonderful team around you. Yeah.
They're probably all giggling because they're like, no wonder her and Sarah got along so well. Because even when I joined the Mrs. Tennessee pageant, both of my assistants called me and they went, like, they did not know each other said this because one lives in Florida, one lives in Kansas City. Like, they don't even live close to each other, right? And they both messaged me and went, so this is interesting about the pageant. Did you need something else to do? Or like, that was like
everybody thought the same thing about me. I'm like, no, it's not about the pageant. It's about what I'm fighting for. It's about the voice I need out there. It's about my platform. I've got to expand it. And so that's what it all was about.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I want you to tell them about your platform, and then I want to also thank you for being a part of my platform, which is the message. Bad things can happen. Your childhood does not have to define you. And I also want to point this out. Your mom had 14 marriages. Mm-hmm. That is not an excuse for you to be a jerk.
Amen. Exactly.
And so many people think, oh, well, that person had a bad childhood. So you talked about the expectations. And I say it's in a relationship, 50% empathy, 50% expectations.
Yes.
You want to have kindness. You want to have empathy. But a bad childhood is a not all access pass for treating you badly. Period.
No, you allow yourself the excuse of being a victim for the rest of your life. And it's hard to break through that barrier once you create that reality in your mind. And really, what is a victim? A victim is a moment in their life. It's a second, a moment, a year. It was part of it. Their entire life, you cannot tell me that their entire life did not have some form of joy. You've got to tap into that. And you've got to build on that, not the bad. You got to let it go. You just can't carry it around with you like a really bad handbag, right?
and learn and move on. Right?
Absolutely.
Learn and move on, and don't make the same mistakes. However long it takes us to figure it out, right?
Yes,
let's
right.
figure it out. Yeah.
Because that's on you. When you repeat those mistakes, that's on you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I tell people, if they've been tricked or manipulated, kind of a phrase I use is, I don't hold you responsible, I maybe don't hold you like a bad childhood. I don't hold you responsible for your past. I do hold you responsible for your future.
Absolutely.
Change, right? That's well, tell us a little bit about your platform and your voice you're bringing to the world.
Oh, I love talking about it because I'm so passionate about it. It's human trafficking. It's a huge problem. We're hearing more about it now because it's hitting the news. It's hitting, based on people in high places being involved. It's becoming more aware. It's something more talked about. Human trafficking is modern day slavery. That's what it is. But it comes in many different forms. It comes in the form of child pornography. It comes in the form of sexual trafficking for sex workers. It comes in the form of forced marriage. It comes in the form of human labor. there's so many different facets. And I think that we are in a society that has a vision in their head of what a trafficker looks like. It's some greasy, grimy guy wearing a wife beater in a van, right?
Yes.
That's not how it is. It's businessmen and women. It's your neighbor. It's your best friend's father. And, you know, it could be anybody. And they don't look like they used to. And I think they also think it's like the movie Taken. You know, it's you've been snatched out of your home and taken to another country. Well, no, sometimes it's you've been manipulated by your friend who brought you into, I mean, we're seeing a lot of this on the Jeffrey Epstein. You know, it's somebody convincing you that this is awesome. This is how you're going to make money, or they entice you with drugs, you know, and you could have been a straight A student, a cheerleader, all the great things, and they can entice you into drugs, and then you're hooked, and then you're just doing whatever you need to do to get more. But the problem is this, the age group for people trafficked in this world today is between the age of 12 and 16. And the problem that I ran into is there's nobody teaching our 12 to 16-year-olds the risk. And so I devised a program called #TheWireMovement. And we're working on our 501c now, trying to get it up and running so that we can move our way into the school systems. There is a healthy and productive way to have this conversation with that age group to where they have an understanding of it, because it's not just about saving themselves. It's about saving a possible classmate, a possible neighbor. They need to know the signs, and they need to know what to look for so that they can save a life and so they can protect themselves. And what goes hand in hand with that also is teaching these boys and girls how to self-validate, how to find self-worth, because, you know, at that age, they are so insecure and they are looking for somebody to give them their value. We need to teach them what value looks like. And we need to teach them that they're enough, right? That they don't have to be like A, B, C, D to be good, you know? And I think it's important to build on that, because we could decrease, you know, teenage pregnancies. We could decrease sexually transmitted diseases in that age group. We can suicide. We can, you know, decrease suicide. We also could decrease the chance of these children falling into the hands of a human trafficker. So it all goes hand in hand.
And I love what you said about they don't look like the greasy, because that's what I say about toxic people, right?
Yeah.
You know, women fall into controlling relationships, and
Sure.
It's like, well, very few people screw their life up on purpose, right?
No,
You
they didn't.
thought they were a good person. You thought they really loved you. You thought they would grow up and mature. You
Sure.
thought whatever else, because, you know, the devil, what is their old country song? You're from Nashville. In their old country song about the devil, and I didn't know he'd have blue eyes and blue jeans or something like that.
Well, I'm actually from Seattle, so, but no, I've been here long enough. I should probably know that.
Yeah, I don't know. So I think my
There's
dad,
so many country songs, and they all probably would fit this category.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And just recognizing that you have to learn how to trust your intuition. You have to learn how to trust your spidey sense. I try not to betray anyone in my life, obviously, but I really try not to betray my spidey sense and my intuition and I think something's weird about that situation. And that's something as women we're not taught to do. We're taught to trust our teachers, trust authority, trust the men in our life, trust the religious figures, trust the government, trust whoever it is other than ourselves.
Well, I mean, Jeffrey Epstein was a school teacher for a while. You know, I mean,
that thing was awful. Yeah.
Oh.
That situation was awful.
And we don't even know just a small bit of it, probably. Yeah. So, and they're out there. They are out there.
And toxic people don't look like, they don't look like monsters.
No. They look like us.
They look like us. Yes.
They look like us.
And so do sociopaths and narcissists, and not just child traffickers.
Absolutely.
That's such a good lesson for that. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and coming in our craziness. Anytime.
I'll do anything to see you again, because I adore you.
Oh, don't worry, girl. I'm in Nashville all the time. We'll
Perfect.
do dinner soon.
Perfect. Yeah.
Bye.
I'll see you later.
Thanks.